Hello, everyone. I'm back for another ASO news recap, this time about WWDC 2024. Apple gave us some new stuff to play around for ASO, so let's get into it. The most important announcement in terms of ASO from WWDC was probably the addition of deep links to CPPs. So if you're not familiar, CPPs already allow you to customize screenshots, videos, and promotional text when you link an ad to your App Store page. And adding a deep link is going to allow you to basically build custom user flows that not only take users to a different variant of your App Store page based on the ad they engage with, but can also take them to custom onboarding. It's going to be a very important shift. The nice to note in this announcement is that there are very little requirements in terms of the deep link you provide. You just need to upload a deep link in the CPP setup you have on App Store Connect. And the only requirement really is for the deep link to actually work. So that means you don't have to respect a very specific format for your deep link. And as a result, I believe it means that if you create a deep link with an MMP, you may be able to both benefit from deferred deep linking when the implementation has been set up correctly, as well as having tracking on that deep link and being able to measure some more stats specifically for your CPP. Another ASO announcement regards featurings and basically the fact that Apple is going to make it easier for apps to request featurings on the App Store by having the form to apply be part of App Store Connect and have different fields that are more intuitive to complete to actually make the case for why your app should be featured by Apple in the Today Apps or Games tab. Now, the two things I noted personally regarding this announcement are that number one, when you're going to be applying to get featured, you may have a chance to add a link to an in-app event that relates to why you believe your app should be featured. So this is something very similar to what Google Play is doing now. And it will be interesting to see if apps that link to an in-app event get better featurings, more often featured than when they don't do that linking. The other note I had was just that Apple also announced that you'll get notified, you'll receive a notification from App Store Connect when your app is actually featured. So this may also make it easier to report on performances when you actually apply for featurings. The last ASO specific announcement is simply that the amount of screenshots and videos you need to upload in App Store Connect is simplified, whereas before there were multiple device sizes you needed to care for in App Store Connect. Now you'll only have to upload one iPhone size screenshot and one iPad size screenshots, which should make everyone's lives a bit easier. We're not sure yet how the display is going to be changed, so be careful to still check on devices how your screenshots look like. But overall, I think it's going to be still much easier to control what you upload and make the entire creative upload process much easier. Finally, there's a couple topics that are not ASO specific I also want to mention in the recap. The first one is Apple Intelligence, and the second one is the new adAttributionKit that was announced by Apple. Regarding Apple Intelligence, it was the focus of the keynote. It's basically Apple's take on AI. So I'm not an expert, and I will advise everyone to read more from better qualified sources. But I think the quick comment that's still important to share is simply that Apple seems to be taking an approach to AI that plays to Apple's strengths, specifically plays to making an AI that's extremely user-friendly. And so it calls on apps to integrate an SDK developed by Apple, which will make it easier for the AI to recommend results whenever prompted that are based on app interactions. That means basically Apple's AI is going to be built as a network good where even if you're not convinced at first, the amount of others who engage with it, the amount of users grow with how the good itself is growing. And so eventually, I think everyone will have to play along just to make sure that their apps still are relevant and still offer services through the AI assistant Apple is building. Finally, regarding adAttributionKit, for all the marketers, I think there was a question mark when the announcement first came out and everyone was wondering, is Apple trying to kill MMPs? I think that it's not the case at all at the moment. On the contrary, what I understand from adAttributionKit, it's basically Scan 5.0. It just builds on everything that Scan 4.0 was, and it adds re-engagement capabilities. It's just giving people an option to better implement the attribution process they want. So technically, it does give an option to not use an MMP, but at the same time, because of the entire chain of value, I do think that MMPs still very much have a place in the value chain today. And what they offer on top of attribution with things like deep linking, which we mentioned before, for instance. The one note I had on adAttributionKit was actually more about how Apple seems to put some emphasis on its own ad format and the fact that SK Overlay and SK Store Product View Controller, I think is the name, are the only two formats that actually allow for both impression and click postbacks. And so I think here it does stir the market in a direction where Apple ad formats should be preferred. And it does open the door to speculation as to will Apple eventually go to having its own ad network with third-party inventories included. That's it for the recap. I'm still no professional YouTuber, but if you guys want to share your own observations in the comments, our marketing team will be reading. And otherwise, I'll probably see you soon in another video.